Waiting for everyone to trickle on in. The dojo is here. It's a $500,000 dojo that I paid for. All white oak and red oak, wooden floors and walls. So step on in. Make sure you leave your shoes in the front and bow in respectfully. I much appreciate it. Don't you disrespect the dojo, man. You don't want to find out what happens. Oh, so we got some of the feedback from the stream. All right. All right, cool. So if you guys can put your phone or your chats on mute, once again, that we much appreciate. This way there's no feedback loops or anything like that. Until I say something. If you have a question, you can either type it in or you can go ahead and just unmute yourselves and ask, and then I'll be able to answer your questions. As you can see here, once again, this is my live stream, my YouTube channel that I live stream to, and also where I put up YouTube videos. Now, today, I just want to kind of give you guys just an overview, just to start off, of kind of just quickly a little bit about me. I'm actually a Long Island Gaming League competitor for fighting games, so I do compete in tournaments from time to time. And on top of that, I do have my own podcast called Take the Points and Run. That is on Spotify if you want to check that out. And also I do make content on here. Now today we're talking, of course, about building your brand, content creation, being someone that puts themselves out there and kind of really showcases whether it's skill or just overall passion or giving some sort of entertainment value when it comes to gaming. What people have to understand when it comes to content creation is the fact that it is a valuable skill. There's a lot of range when it comes to basically creating content. Why would someone want to create content? One, because we want to share our passion. That's number one. Two, you have a route of monetization, a route of potentially making a career out of it, and of course, benefiting greatly from building a following, building your brand so that other companies are going to want to basically sponsor you and get involved with your projects and things like that, so on and so forth. Now, I'm just checking my notes here. Now, there is a big learning curve when it comes to content creation. It's kind of a process that takes a super long time to understand the full scope. And that's including streaming, that's including creating YouTube videos, just making short clips on social media. There's a wide range where you have to take the time to learn. It's not something that it is 1, 2, 3, and then there you go. There is a lot involved with the process, and honestly, as speaking from someone that is first coming in, that is kind of new to, I guess, content creation, it's overwhelming. You look at all the options that you have, and you look at all the things you can do when you open up the softwares, and when you open up, all the different setting options that you have for your audio, video, editing software. It's huge. It's like learning an instrument. When someone hands you a guitar and says, "Hey, play a song," you're gonna be like, "I don't know any songs, for one. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get good. Like, where do I go?" So it is a very overwhelming thing, and you're just like, damn, this is gonna take a long time, which honestly, there's no real shortcuts in the sense of you just mastering everything. It takes time to understand the workflow. It takes time for you to get what you need to get in order to make quality content. Now, I want to talk about strategic branding, because a big part of why people are successful when it comes to content is their branding and the way they promote themselves, the way they put content out there. I think now more than ever, we're in an age where there's so many content creators on YouTube, so many Twitch streamers, so many gamers that have this passion to go ahead and put out stuff of themselves, and which is great. But what that creates is now an oversaturation of the market, and now you have a whole bunch of competition and a lot of people doing what you're doing, essentially. So it becomes very difficult to find success when it comes to content creation. So what can you do? So branding is what's going to kind of separate you from the herd, the pack, the humongous amount of people that are doing the same thing you're doing. How you brand yourself, the way you promote yourself is a big part. And I really would recommend for those listening in to take some notes down, take a couple, bullet points on a notepad, or put some stuff on your phone. I'm going to go over a couple number of things that you would want to jot down, because this is important information. Feel like this is stuff that's not really talked about too often. You'll find videos on it and things here and there, but I'm going to tell you, just from my experience and what I've learned from starting up content, from promoting myself, kind of what's been working and what I know to work, for the future of my content and my channel and things like that. So I'll say this: the first thing you need to know about branding is that spreading yourself too thin can really hurt you. What do I mean by that? Spreading yourself too thin really means that I'm going to do a whole bunch of different things at one time, whether you're someone that wants to do gaming, and then also I'm going to do movie reviews, and then also I want to do skits and things like that. That is all good and great, but people tend to want to come to your channel for a specific reason. And when it comes to creating a channel that has a niche, that has something different from the others, you kind of want to establish right off the bat what is kind of going to be expected when you put out content. Now, when it comes to creating something like that, it could be a number of things. If you're going to be a channel or a streamer that is a gamer, how are you going to separate yourself from the other gamers? Now, you can do a focus, say, on a genre, say fighting games, a genre such as horror games, stuff like that. You can be a variety streamer, but you need to have a little bit more sauce than just being a variety streamer. You need to maybe incorporate things like comedy, maybe incorporate things like being high energy, having discussions, just chatting sessions, those types of things. That's gonna make it a little different than just having them watch gameplay the entire time, basically. Let's see here. Experimenting is fine, and I actually encourage people to experiment when it comes to creating content and seeing how people receive things, and that is a big part I'm going to get into is feedback, criticism. But you want to experiment and then really decide what it is you want to accomplish, and look at what you're good at. If you're someone that doesn't have a crazy big personality, you're not going to want to have that be the focus. Maybe your focus is more on education and breaking things down, coming from a more analytic point of view. That sort of thing could really, be the difference between the type of content and the way people receive content on a daily. I want to also talk about self-promotion. So when it comes to self-promotion, this is something I was talking to the group just a little while ago, is to not just be so focused on the one platform. That's pretty key. I mean, a lot of people love Twitch because it's intuitive and easy and kind of straightforward as far as setting up your stream and going ahead and streaming. But the discoverability and the when I say discoverability, the ability for the platform itself to showcase you is a hindrance. Reason being, the people that get put on the list, if you ever go on Twitch and actually look for streams, the people that are put first are the people with the most views. And if you're first starting out, you have no views, you have no followers, it's very hard to get discovered unless you start building a following on other platforms. So use other platforms to your advantage, whether it's through YouTube and then you're converting people to your Twitch channel, or you have a Facebook gaming stream and then you're able to convert people to these other platforms, or you're able to get a following on Twitter, on Instagram, people like your posts, and then say, hey, by the way, I also stream on Twitch. You can go ahead and follow my streams and check me out. Using those platforms, I feel like, is such a helpful tool for discoverability and promoting your brand. Other ways you can promote your brand on social media is taking clips from your stream and go ahead and showing that or posting that on your Twitter, on your Facebook, because there's plenty of people that I'm sure you have on your social media that might not know that you're a gamer, might not know that you're a streamer. And by going on your timeline and they see like, oh, there's a little clip of his gameplay, oh, he's talking, you know, he has a stream, this is cool, like I didn't know he did this, or her, I didn't know she did this. And then you leave a link to your Twitch page, YouTube page, or whatever. They can go ahead and click the link very easily. Now you converted them from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to your other platform. So huge thing to consider is expanding, not just saying on one platform, but making sure you have feelers and outreach on all these other platforms. When it comes to strategic branding, you do want to have a theme going. My theme here is, you know, having the dojo. I'm very big into martial arts. I'm actually learning Japanese sword martial art currently. So, you know, there's a little bit of martial arts themes. There's a lot of things that I talk about, like the dojo and things like that, that kind of fit with my personality, and kind of what I like in as far as my passion, the things that I show. But back to strategic branding, of course, we talked about utilizing other platforms. The other type of strategic branding is actually having things like logos and having just a theme, an overall theme to your channel, to your stream, things like that could really separate you. You can be the guy that, I don't know, wears a hot dog costume on your stream all the time, stuff like that. You can be really creative and innovative with this stuff. So I really encourage you to experiment, find your own thing, and kind of run with it, and make sure it's congruent to you. You don't want to just come on stream and be playing a character all the time, just kind of be the dancing monkey in a sense. You do want to be genuine in something that you're passionate about, incorporate that. Just like how I'm passionate about martial arts, that's what I kind of centered my theme and kind of what I talk about, because I do play a lot of fighting games, and martial arts, of course, just ties right into that. But things like having a logo, having some sort of symbol, could really be big for a lot of people. Having something that's recognizable, something that looks professional, could really be the determination for people that look at you and see if you're legit or not. You know, people, they're visual creatures. They see that you have a nice setup. You know, they see that you have professional looking Twitch panels, and they see that you have a nice, you know, logo going for yourself. It's not something that was just like hand drawn or just thrown out there. everything's well neat and put together, people see that, oh wow, this guy must be legit. The same way that if you were to listen to a music track, if you hear the audio and it doesn't sound good, or you see an artist and they don't look legit, you're just not inclined to want to listen or give that person a chance to even digest their content. So that sort of thing. And for those that are wondering, how do I get stuff like that? How do I even get a logo or get things that are like social media banners for your YouTube and things like that? There's several sites that you can go to. There's one called own.tv, I believe, that you'll be able to purchase like little packages that way. But also what I did and what I recommend for people is to shop around on Fiverr. Fiverr is a website that actually has just a bunch of people that are doing freelancing work. So you have graphic designers, voice actors, yada, 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 that you can actually pay whatever they offer, and you say, hey, look, this is my concept, this is a logo idea that I have in mind, can you create something for me? And then they'll be able to create you a nice logo, nice Twitch panels, whatever it is you need, even things like animations, having a YouTube intro animation, things like that. You can get that all off Fiverr. So definitely write that down if you're wondering exactly where to go when it comes to getting things like that. If you don't have that, if you have a friend or family member that does graphic design, definitely reach out to them as well. So that's for branding. So we talked about self-promotion, we talked about logos, and then the other thing you need to know about branding is just networking, talking to other content creators, getting advice, forming relationships, going to Discords and other types of Reddit servers, and just being able to promote yourself, talk about the stuff that you do, ask questions, and especially people that are doing better than you, people that started from just kind of doing nothing, and kind of gone ahead and had success even before you. Definitely want to get together with them and pick their brain. Exactly what did they do to actually get people to follow you? What was that thing that really, I guess, got them to where they needed to be when it comes to gaining a following and putting content on a regular basis? So there's that. Now, what I like to call, for when it comes to creating content, videos, streams, whatever it may be, I feel, and this is coming from my experience, once again, I'm not the guru of all content creation. Obviously, I'm not like a ninja, and I'm not super famous or anything like that. But just from my analyzing and understanding of how the game works and what I've been able to gather from studying this stuff, is that there's three main components when it comes to creating content. Now, again, if you're watching, definitely take notes, take this down, jot little side notes, bullet points, so you guys have something, because there's a lot of information. So I don't want you guys to just hear it and then forget about it. So three main components. The first component is audio. Audio can be sometimes even more important than visuals. I can't tell you how many times when you stop into a stream, how fast people are willing to click off because your mic sounds messed up, your game audio is not there. It's just a bad experience listening to whatever content that you're putting out. Having good audio is so severely underestimated, I feel, because more times than not, if you are streaming on Twitch or streaming on YouTube, Facebook gaming, a lot of people, their attention is not fully on the visual the entire time. Yes, there's times where, they're just chilling and, they're, having food and they're watching your stream or whatnot. But think of the times that you visited a stream, or, you just had a stream up. more times than not, I would bet that you just had the audio just in the background. I would bet that you put on a stream and then you would get up to go do other things, fold your clothes, do your laundry, go ahead and cook yourself something to eat. So if your audio is not there, and of course my house phone is ringing in the background talking about audio, if you don't have the audio, people are not going to want to stay around. And it's as simple as that. Now, how do you basically get the audio which you need to where it needs to be? Getting audio right, it does take time, and it's specific to your setup and to your hardware. So for me to go into all the things that you need for great audio, it's going to take way too long. So I'm just going to talk just a little bit general in the sense of some of the things to think about when you want to improve your audio and your content. Again, video, stream, whatever it may be. So you definitely want a quality microphone. That's number one. I think having just gameplay is just, in 2021, is just not enough, in my opinion. I'm sure there's some people that found success just streaming gameplay, whether maybe because they're a pro player, maybe because they do really well in tournament and they can just put gameplay clips like that. And that might work. But as far as being an entertainer, being someone that wants to develop a following, I feel like you need to have the microphone. Something to think about when it comes to microphones and getting quality microphones. There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of microphone companies, even ones that are really geared toward gaming. But you want to understand, the difference between a USB microphone and what's called an XLR microphone. A USB microphone is going to be quick, simple, easy. It's via USB, plugs right into your PC. Very simple. XLR microphone, you're going to need an audio interface such as maybe a soundboard or kind of what they use for, if you imagined like a recording studio. You see, kind of this panel with dials that go up and down, that sort of thing, that audio interface to plug in a microphone, and it has a jack about this big. That goes into those audio interfaces. Those mics are going to be a lot more expensive, but they're going to give you studio quality. So it's important to understand, hey, where am I at right now? Can I spend the extra money to go ahead and get a really high-end microphone and audio interface? My opinion, if you're first starting out, I would say save your money, especially if you're not sure if this is what you want to do. If you're not sure if you want to go full head on into creating content, I definitely wouldn't spend that much money. We're talking about hundreds of dollars, basically. If you're someone that's first starting out, I do recommend that you go ahead and get yourself a USB mic. There are good ones and there are bad ones. Do keep in mind. I'm actually going to switch over. I wanted to kind of show here. So if we go ahead, we're going to, so just to show you quickly, a very common USB mic is the Blue Yeti. So you can see here, typically this is what it looks like on Amazon. Right now it's running for $128. But there you go. That's typically what it looks like. You have your volume dial, you have a couple options. And this is, again, an investment. It's a big investment. Even for a USB microphone, a decent one at that, you're still spending around $100 for a decent USB mic. So again, I wouldn't spend way too much money, but definitely prioritize the fact that it is a big deal when it comes to having good audio. So that is number one. Let me just transition back. So there you have it. Now, of course, you have things like making sure your levels are right, making sure you have the proper filters, having things like this. This is a pop filter, so that when I speak into the microphone, you only hear the the heavy P's and the heavy T's that you know, don't sound right. This will prevent that. This is called a pop filter. You can spend like $20 for something like that. You can also get things like a windscreen. I think I have one here. Let me see. I can show you guys real quick. Sorry, oh no, the dojo. Don't look. Okay. So show here. So this is my other USB microphone. This is not the one I'm using now. This is a Samsung G-Track Pro, and yeah, this has a windscreen on it. This little foam piece. That's what that is. Okay. And of course, you have things like effects you can put on to really, you know, play around and be creative with. Things like echoes and adding little voice changers and things like that you can have fun with as well. Now, that's the first main component, is audio. The second main component is the visual. Having a webcam is vital as well. I feel, again, just like not having a mic, not having a webcam is really detrimental to your growth. Having the visual part, getting people familiar with your face, getting people familiar with your expressions, how you express yourself, how you react to certain situations in game and other things like that, is a big part of why people want to see your content. Big part of why people want to subscribe to your channel, subscribe to your stream, and things like that. In this day and age, if you don't have a webcam, I definitely think that you're at a severe disadvantage. So go ahead, look into a webcam. You can get a cheap one, but you don't necessarily want to go with the cheapest. You don't want some knockoff Chinese brand or anything like that. Typically good ones are the Logitechs, and all you need is a 1080p one that's gonna do the job, honestly. Now, of course, if you're someone that is trying to take things to the highest level, you're just going to skip right past the webcam, and you're gonna go with a full DSLR camera that you use to shoot video footage and things like music videos. You're gonna go with a high-end camera. But again, you know, if you're first starting out, there's no need to go do all that, because you might end up in a situation where you spend a lot of money and then you realize, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, or, you know, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be and I don't want to do it. I definitely recommend starting off small and then working your way up. Once you find success, go ahead and investing back into your stream, back into your content, so that you can take things to the next level. Also, when it comes to visuals, you want high definition. Like I said before, 720p and up is what's recommended. Anything lower than that, it could hurt your content, I feel. Having things like steady frame rates, at least 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, is typically what you want to go for not only your webcam, but also your gameplay as well. Having crisp visual gameplay is also, you know, just as important of having a good webcam as well. And that has to do with your settings, and I'm going to get into that a little later. Lighting is a huge one. So I actually have, of course, my room lighting, and I actually have a separate ring light that I put on when I stream, when I make videos. I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to turn off my lighting so you can see how dark it is without it. So you can see it's significantly darker, and you see a lot of shadows being casted and things like that. But once I can put this on, you can see me a lot clearer. It's a lot better. So lighting equipment is huge. You don't need super expensive lights either. Elgato makes a what they call a key light that actually syncs with your computer, so you can control, turn it on and off, and change with the lighting just with your computer software, which is neat to have. But honestly, you know, you can just get a cheap ring light, and if you want to have colors, you can make a color filter, like a little paper mache to go over the lighting, and there you go, you got different colors. You see very commonly having a blue light and like a violet or a reddish light, and it gives this kind of a nightclub type of look and vibe. You see that very commonly with Twitch streams. So something to look into, and something to shop around for. Now, of course, what you see here isn't actually a dojo. I'm sorry to break it to you if you guys got tricked. It is a green screen. Green screens can just generally enhance the experience. You can do things like putting up images behind you. You can put yourself basically blended within the game. So if I switch over, I got Dragon Ball Fighters running right now, so I'm just going to show you real quick. So you can see here. So I'm blended in with the background of my gameplay here. And if I go switch over to my main gameplay screen, you see I have everything all set up. I don't have necessarily, you don't see my room in the background. You won't know if I have a mess or not, which is great because I don't have to necessarily make sure everything's super clean, even though I do like to clean up. But you know, this helps. Now, you don't need a green screen. This is an optional thing. If you guys, I do recommend having a nice background though. So that is something to think about as well. You want to make sure you don't have clothes thrown everywhere in the background, and you know, just things that you don't want to be seen in the background at all. So definitely keep that in mind. But green screens are a great option for those that want to make things easier, and you know, you can be a little bit more creative as far as your options go with a green screen. So definitely look into that as well. I'm going to transition back to the dojo. All right, so we have our two main components that we went over. Again, just to go over audio, we talked about mics, we talked about having filters, effects. We have our second one, visual, webcams, crisp gameplay, frame rate, green screens, all that's involved. And then we have the third component, which is probably the most important one out of all of them, and that's execution of your content. Things like, if you guys notice, when I went back and forth with the different scenes that I have, there's a little green ball transition there. Just having things like that can really add production value to whatever content you're putting out. Things like having cuts edited in your YouTube videos. If there's long pauses or times where you messed up and you're scrambling your words, you can go ahead and just cut that right out, and people would never know, and it looks like you're way more prepared, and it doesn't disrupt the flow of your videos. So cuts in videos, just overall pacing of your videos and streams. Sometimes I get sucked in, this happens to me, where I get sucked into the game and I'm just so focused that I forget that I'm like streaming and I'm supposed to be entertaining people. And you know, there's times where I'm just like quiet, stone faced, like, you know, or I'm really tired. You know, that happens too. I have to keep in mind is like, people that are watching this, what are they thinking right now? So general pacing and being able to have some sort of direction and goal in mind, again, is going to play a huge part in your content. Things like showing value. How do you show value? We show value with things like comedy. We show value with things like general, just entertaining moments, and you know, maybe a hype moment. Maybe you're super excited. Maybe you have a lot of energy. We show value with education. How do we execute that education? Is it going to be a boring, you know, video where I'm just like, this is how you do this, this is how you do that? Or am I going to be excited, and am I going to be passionate about what I'm talking about to make it more entertaining? Having great speech and communication skills is part of execution. Having the ability to talk when there's no viewers on your stream is such a vital thing. And because when people come into your stream or people come into your video and you're not really saying much, and again, it's just boring, I'm just looking at gameplay, I'm not going to stick around. It's just simple as that. I'm going to go to someone that's way more entertaining, someone that's funnier, someone that talks better, and shares their expression, shares their passion. So working on communication skills, working on projecting your voice out, working on being more expressive is huge. It is, and it could be a deal breaker for a lot of people, for people that want to follow you and people that don't. So definitely keep that in mind. So again, for those that missed, 3 components: audio, visual, and execution of content. Now, next thing, I know we're taking a lot of time here, but I just want to touch on a few more things. So want to keep in mind, quality over quantity. It's way better to put out an amazing, well-edited video once a month than put out every day a video that you didn't edit, that you didn't even try. It is way better to put out quality content than a whole bunch of content, because you want to build rapport. You want to build trust with your viewership. You want people to know that if you put something out, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be something that they're going to want to watch. They don't necessarily trust you after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos and the audio's messed up and the visual's messed up and it's edited and the pacing's slow and you're not entertaining, you're not really, expressive. And so it's about building the trust with your audience. If you can't be consistent with the quality, people are just going to expect you're not going to be consistent with the quality. That's as simple as that. So quality over quantity always. I know we have busy schedules. I know that we have our own lives when aside from gaming, we have jobs, we have family, we have issues of our own and personal stuff. So finding the time to make sure things are quality is way better than just throwing stuff out and hoping it sticks. So keep that in mind. The other thing I want to talk about is general workflow organization. And again, this goes back to what I was saying about, we have our own personal lives, we have our own schedule. It's important to find the time that is needed because these things do take time. Editing does take time. Streaming for multiple hours takes time. Finding the time to do that isn't always convenient. So being organized in how we work, organize in what we schedule for ourselves, pre-planning our content is going to be the difference between you getting burnt out with content creation and you not getting burnt out with content creation. Because how many times have you heard, people are just like, I need to take a break and I need to, step away for a little bit. That's happened so many times with creators. So being well organized is going to be the difference of you being able to do this for a long term. Short term, yeah, sure, you can put out a whole bunch of content, but it's hard after a while. Things change. So you need to find a way to schedule yourself and be organized in what I call the workflow. The workflow is basically how you plan a video, record a video or stream your gameplay, then go back, either edit or whatever it is you need to do, and then promote in that order. So it's steps. It's plan, execute, edit, final revisions, and then promotion. So how we go about doing that, the easier we can make things flow one into another, is how you get longevity. How I plan for a video, I know that, okay, this is the topic. This is the key points I want to touch on. Do I want to, maybe I want to put in memes. Maybe I want to put in an animation. I'm having things in mind already before I record the video so that when I get into my editing process, I know exactly, okay, I know I have to cut this out. I know I have to add this audio. I know I have to add this animation and so on and so forth. because I already pre-planned the whole concept of the video way ahead. This way, I'm not sitting there in my editing software, stressed out like, oh my God, I didn't really talk about this. I forgot to add this, and now I have to go back, re-record something. Something didn't come out right. It's a huge headache. Trust me. And the thing is, when you first start, you're gonna make a bunch of mistakes. Like, it's almost inevitable at this point. You're gonna make huge amounts of mistakes. But that's what I'm talking about when it comes to a learning curve. But as you learn, as you make these mistakes and learn from them, you're gonna find you're gonna have a lot easier time as you go. And by the end of it, where you start to master or start to get good at creating the content and mastering the workflow on what you need to do, the steps, you're going to find it to be a lot more rewarding, and it's a lot less stressful. It's a lot less worrisome of like, oh my God, is this going to come out the way that I want it to come out? You're going to have less worry and less anxiety about that. So getting the workflow, super important. And then 3 things I wanted to just quickly mention before I kind of open the floor up to questions. Just 3 things quickly. Hardware, as you guys know, this is an investment. If you do want to create content for gaming, it is an investment. You need to have a PC or at the very least a laptop. I definitely recommend having a desktop over a laptop. You definitely want a strong CPU. I myself have a Ryzen 7 3600X, I believe, and that's kind of the main reason why I'm able to put out high definition streaming and other things like that. Having a graphics card, if you're going to also do gameplay and game on your PC, you need to have a high-end graphics card. And having a good graphics card also helps with editing, because it's going to be able to render images and render animation in a better real time. So this way you can get a sense of how your video is going to come out once you export it. Again, we talked about the webcam. We talked about if you want to go high end, you get the video camera. You got the mic, of course. We talked about things like pop filters, windscreens, even having a stand, so you can get it off your table, because a lot of times if our table moves, the mic picks it up. The mic picks up the vibration. So having a stand, whether it's an arm stand that comes out from your desk or just out from the floor, definitely something to invest into. Lighting equipment, we went over again. Having different lighting, to really improve your video is going to be essential almost. And then you have optional things like green screens and other types of hardwares. If you guys aren't familiar, there's something called a Stream Deck that actually will connect to your computer, and it's basically hotkeys to control your stream. So with a touch of a button, you can have it transition to different scenes and mute your mic, unmute your mic, and run a video, whatever it may be. So it's almost like a control panel that has hotkeys. That is also optional. It's not necessary, but it is nice to have. Software, if you're going to be streaming, I definitely recommend OBS, which is OBS Studio. And then you also have the option of Streamlabs OBS, which is a modded version of OBS that will basically incorporate already pre-downloaded widgets within that software. And then also use things like Stream Elements. Stream Elements actually connects to your stream, and it allows you to incorporate more widgets, like I was talking about. If you ever notice, when you go to follow someone, you donate money, or you subscribe to them on their stream, a little notification pops up on their stream and lets them know, hey, this such and such followed you. Hey, we have a new subscriber. It'll play like a little jingle or just a visual animation to come across on the stream. That is done in Stream Elements. That's also how you set up donations, how you can edit panels, and they have a lot of different things on there. Having things like countdowns, having things like I'm starting a stream soon, and then there's a countdown to show the viewers when the stream's about to start, things like that. Stream Elements is huge. If you're interested in, say, podcasting or just recording audio in general for a video or for a podcast, I definitely recommend free software called Audacity. It's easy to use, been around for a long time, and it just gets the job done. You don't need a super high-end software for audio nowadays because of programs like Audacity. So definitely jot that down. You also have you're going to want to look into, if you're going the YouTube route, if you're going to making short clips and making like meme videos or meme compilations, you're going to look into video editing software. I'm just going to recommend 3 to you so far. There's a lot of video software out there. But the 3 I recommend, if you say have a pretty decent graphics card, there's a free software called DaVinci Resolve you're going to want to look into. It is free, but it does require you to have a little bit more of a higher end graphics card, because it is a more professional quality when it comes to editing. Adobe Premiere, that is a paid one. That is not free, that you pay for, but it is basically dubbed by the community the best editing software for the most professional types of videos, even things like music videos, even things like creating short films, things like that. That's what they typically use. That's Adobe Premiere. And then the one I currently use, that is a simple version, and it's not too much stress as far as getting a good graphics card for, is something called HitFilm Express. There is a paid version of that, but you don't necessarily need that for simple editing tools like cutting up videos and adding audio, adding different little animations, effects, filters. That is a free software you guys can download today. It's called HitFilm Express, so you could check that out as well. And let's see here, and also you want to make sure when you do make content, you want to make sure everything is updated. When I talk about things being updated, I'm talking about the software drivers. So having your mic software drivers, your camera software drivers, you want to make sure everything's up to the latest version so you don't run into any issues, because there's been times where I'm trying to get the stream together, I'm trying to get a video together, and then I can't understand why my mic's not working. I can't understand why my camera isn't working properly. Things shutting off, freezing, and you want to pull your hair out, and a lot of times it's because there was an update that was put out that it has to download. So you go ahead and make sure everything's updated to your software, and all the drivers that you can find within your desktop or PC. And then the final thing I want to talk about before I open up the floor to questions and any comments is monetization. Monetization is a big reason for people to get involved with streaming, to get involved with content creation, because let's be honest, how nice would it be to get paid for doing something you love? How nice would it be to make a career out of gaming? That's exactly what a lot of people are interested in. It's what I'm interested. I don't know about you guys, but I want to chase the bag. I want to be successful and be able to make a living, or at least get some sort of income for the hard work that I put out. So some things to consider or to look into when it comes.
Chase that bag, Elvis.
Oh yeah,
Chase that bag.
You already know. Monetization, it is different for the different platforms that you do stream on or make content on. So be aware of that. Definitely look into exactly the breakdowns of that. I'm not going to go into all the different breakdowns of how things monetize. I can probably do that maybe in a different session. We can go over that. But as far as YouTube, I know that over 1,000 subscribers is where you can start to monetize vids. You can go ahead, and what the great thing about YouTube is when you monetize something, those vids stay up there. So when people are clicking on old videos and things that you put out maybe months ago, you can still make money off those videos. And that's why YouTube is so successful when it comes to their monetization program, is that you can continuously make money without putting out new content. So if I made a bunch of content and just stopped for a little bit, took a break, I could still make money just because I have all those old videos. So something to think about. You have your YouTube partner program that increases the monetization way more. And there's things like ads and stuff like that. You have your Twitch affiliate program. Probably most of you are familiar with. It's pretty not that difficult to get as long as you're consistent and we do some of the things we talk about and you build a little bit of a following. A lot of people can reach Twitch affiliates, so it's a very doable thing. And you can get a little bit of monetization that way. It's not going to be as much as YouTube or things like the Twitch partner program, but Twitch affiliate is a way to get a little bit of money here and there for your streams. But you ultimately want the money comes in when you get the Twitch partner program. You also have Facebook Gaming. Facebook Gaming also has their monetization avenue on there. It's very similar to Twitch, very similar to the YouTube Twitch affiliate program. So there is opportunities on Facebook. Facebook, by the way, is one of the biggest platforms to stream on, so a lot of people are having success. It's not as intuitive and lucrative as, say, Twitch as far as the features and the ease of use, but when we're talking about numbers and the potential of growth and money that you can make, things like Facebook and YouTube may actually provide you more opportunities to get more eyes on your content. So that's something to keep in mind. And you also, of course, have sponsorships. I'm sure you've seen videos that actually include paid sponsorships from Manscaped, Raid, Shadow Legends. How many times you seen that? Those people are getting paid to show. Yeah,
Shout out to
Monster. Yep. We're with Long Island Gaming League. We are actually partnered with Vertigear, which is a gaming chair company. And they give us a little bit of commission for all the chairs that we link viewers to. So we would give them a promo code and it's a promotion that way. And we can get money from that promotions. But you can only get promotions if you do all the other things we talked about with coming off professional and making sure things are nice. If you don't take the time to make things quality, companies aren't going to want to work with you. So sponsorships are another way to make a good amount of money. And then the last way is donations, stream donations. That could be set up in Stream Elements, like as I talked before. And things like just having a goal, having a donation goal can help. People do run charity streams, so you can raise money that way to help your favorite charity that you want to do. We actually did one for American Cancer Society, and that was pretty successful. So there's definitely ways to make money, through these avenues. And just keep in mind that there are things like copyright that you have to worry about. You do have to worry about playing certain music on there that could be copyright claimed by the music companies, using footage that is straight from a movie for like a longer time. That stuff is very finicky, and it requires you to go to each platform and look at the terms of service to make sure you don't violate them, because the last thing you want is getting strikes on your channel and then eventually having it lead to your channel getting shut down or your videos just being completely unmonetized and you can't make money from them anymore. So that's stuff to keep in mind you want to avoid, and it's different. And the terms are similar in each platform, but there's slight variations you have to look into. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys for today. I know it was a lot of information that we just went over. We kind of rapid fire went through. And I hope you guys took a little bit of notes, or at least, put some stuff in your head to kind of think about. What I want to do at this time actually is open up the floor for any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to ask. I just want to take this time to address anything you guys have on your mind when it comes to content creation, when it comes to getting started, having ideas, anything like that. So the floor is open.
right, guys. So this is a good time. Well, first and foremost, Elvis, let me say this. We I'm gonna speak on behalf of everybody. Thank you, man. That was an amazing display of information to really give us an idea of all of the nuances to building a platform. And you did it in such an organic way to feed off of what Tyree and Nick did 2 weeks ago to just add on top of the opportunity that's available for if a person who is building content through online esports, let's say it from that perspective, how they can present themselves and monetize and build a following at any space in their life or whatever they're going through or whatever the case may be. I think the question I would ask first to kick this off, what was the thing that as a gamer made you say, let me take it to the next level to start a platform where people can watch me, but not only that, I can build a business model around it.
That's a great question, and I think the main reason why I wanted to basically, well, there's a couple of reasons I'll say. Main thing is that I knew that I can provide value in the form of entertainment. I have a background in theater. I have a background in acting and being part of short films, being part of, just being on stage and being able to communicate and express myself. I've developed that skill over the years. So that has helped me tremendously. Plus, I've have such a tremendous amount of passion for gaming. I mean, I've been gaming since I can even remember, starting on PlayStation 1, watching my sister play Resident Evil, and, starting things like Mortal Kombat and the first Tekken. I was playing that, and I've always wanted to share the joy and the experience that I get from gaming, and being able to share that and to display my passion and get people to kind of get involved with that, I just feel is such a valuable thing for me and such a gratifying and satisfying thing that it only makes sense to build a platform. It only makes sense for me to go ahead and put myself out there and entertain people, bring a smile to people's faces, and see someone that enjoys and be part of a community that enjoys something as much as other people do. So that, I would say, those are the reasons why I decided, this is for me and this is what I want to do.
Nah, I respect that. And guys, any other questions? What we got here? I mean, Tyree, Jameer, Aurora, anything you guys want to say to this to Elvis?
Nope, no questions at all. I understood everything
Mm,
clearly.
no questions.
No.
How'd you guys feel about the information? Did you feel it was a lot of information? Did you feel it was useful?
Yeah, I feel like it's useful.
I think it was useful for Caleb.
Cool. Good.
I got a question for Elvis.
Go ahead.
So, in your opinion, in terms of not the gaming, not the streaming, but of the content creation itself, about making the videos and editing and put it on YouTube and all that,
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion, to you, what is the hardest part of the process?
Editing. That's all I know.
The hardest part of the process is what I was talking about, workflow. Editing it could be annoying. It could be difficult, but if you have a proper workflow, editing is not that bad. It's almost like, it's like working out, where it's like you can enjoy it. Sometimes you don't want to, but you can enjoy it as well, especially if you're feeling very creative that day. But the general workflow of, okay, I'm going to plan out this video and this is how I'm going to execute it, then actually executing it and making sure everything comes out the way you want it, and then going into editing, edit it the way you want, exporting it, and then go ahead and promoting it. just making sure the process flowing into one thing to another is probably the most difficult thing, because if you're someone that's new, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get, weird things happening where it's like, oh, I did all this work, you recorded your video, and then like, oh wait, my mic was muted the whole time. Like stuff like that, like where you just run into issues because you're still new and still learning about how things flow and what needs to be adjusted and what needs to be on to make sure things come out the way they do. I feel that is the hardest part. But once you get that workflow down, as far as having things flow into another and having a schedule and being able to get things done in an orderly manner, in an organized fashion, and in a way that isn't going to be too stressful, that takes time to get down.
And now, when after you edit, or when you're in the process of editing, let's say you do your videos, let's say from beginning 10 with all the lapses that you might have, it's an hour-long video.
Okay.
Do you try to keep your final product to a certain time, or you don't look too much into that? You just let it go as it goes?
It really comes down to what is the main goal of your video. If your goal is to be entertaining and to show something specific to the viewers, usually more times than not it doesn't end up being like a long video anyway. But there's no like, oh, I have to reach the 10-minute mark or anything like that. The video should be as long as the video needs to be. So that's super important. The video should be exactly the length that it needs to be. If the video has a whole bunch of parts where things aren't really happening or it's just really not entertaining, just cut it. You understand? So, but if you're making videos and it's not showing enough and you didn't put everything you wanted to put in the video, what was the point of the video? So making sure the video is as long as it needs to be, I think is a big thing.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Did you guys get value from this? Did you learn? Is there something you didn't realize before and that you've learned through this? Anything like that? No?
One thing I'll say.
I could definitely say I learned.
Oh, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
I could definitely say that I learned something, even after the countless of times me and you have talked, Elvis. I still continue to learn from you, which I'm always very grateful for.
That's awesome to hear, man. Appreciate it.
That's one of the good things about the gaming and content creation. Regardless of how many years you do it, how good you do it, how much profit you make out of it, there's always something you can learn from somebody else.
Yeah. And what's super important and kind of what you guys have done for me is the feedback portion and how important it is to listen to feedback and how important it is to take criticism, because I know, making content, some people work really hard at it, and a lot of the ego is involved with trying to make good content. And if it ends up that maybe it's not as good as you thought, you got to be able to take that and be like, okay, there's things I need to adjust and to refine. So being able to do that, I think, is a huge skill in itself, to be a good content creator for the longevity of it. Being able to take feedback, listen to your viewers, listen to what people are saying you can improve on, is only going to make you a better content creator at the end of the day. Cool. Anything else before I guess we wrap everything up?
Oh, one thing I want to add. Different platforms that you can stream on and all the monetize. There's one little thing that I think everybody who's listening, who's trying to learn from this, should know. At least I know in terms of the Twitch. It's all nice and pretty before you hit affiliate. because if you want to, you can stream on multiple platforms on the same time. Doesn't make a difference. Do not forget, once you do hit that affiliate, you're basically, you cannot stream directly to other platforms, can only be on Twitch, or else you lose your affiliation.
Yep. Yeah, that's good to know. Also, to add on to that, I just want to show you guys real quick before we leave. If you look here on my stream, I'm actually in my YouTube studio portion. This basically shows me analytics, and what you can do is use analytics basically to your advantage. So here you could see I have 3 concurrent viewers, 2 likes already on the video. So I have 2 viewers on the stream, and I'm looking at also the average watch time. So when I'm making a video and I see that, oh, you know, people are leaving after X amount of time, I'm looking at what can I do to make that number go up, to make people not want to leave at an X amount of time. So that's an adjustment there. How many playbacks, and I'm looking at the viewership spikes as well here, down here, this little chart. So, you know, this stuff isn't just for show and just for you guys to ignore. This is to help you. This is to help you kind of gain an idea of what's happening with your content. Are people leaving right away? Are people sticking around? Are people, you know, just not really being retained from your video? You want to be able to look at that and say, okay, there's things I need to adjust. What can I improve at this point? And, you know, make adjustments from there. But looking at analytics, same thing with, if you go on Twitch, if you're on Facebook Gaming, they all show analytics and showing how many viewers and how many people subscribed to you that day or that time that you streamed. And, you know, definitely take note of it. Don't ignore that stuff. So, anything else? No, it looks like we're all good. Everyone's good.
Fine on my side.
All right, cool. Well, I just want to say, you know, thank you guys for having me, because I really enjoy kind of sharing this type of information. I enjoy, you know, educating people, and I enjoy kind of giving value and kind of helping people out when it comes to this, because I've had a hard time even getting started. And one word of advice I'd say is get started now more than later, because the longer you wait, the longer you procrastinate and make excuses like, oh, I don't have XYZ, you know, hardware and things like that. Just get used to creating content, get used to putting yourself out there, and just make improvements from there. Don't be afraid. Just go ahead and do what you can do. Don't worry about having the ultimate best looking stream, ultimate best looking, you know, quality as far as things. You know, have good enough quality. You know, I'm not gonna say not to pay attention to quality, as you know, I've talked before about how important it is, but you know, get the things you need to get and start making content if you're really passionate about it. And if you want to try it out, go ahead and experiment. I really do encourage you. You may find that you love it. You may find that you love getting feedback. You love getting the attention and the satisfaction from knowing that your hard work paid off. But start today if you can. And if you can't, you know, take the time to start working towards starting up. Don't wait, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be later on, trust me. But other than that, thank you guys so much for having me. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I hope you know, took some notes in either your mind or notepad or whatever, and you know, got some value from this. And I hope you guys, you know, a successful career in whatever it is you do, whether it's gaming or anything else. So thanks again for having me.